How are you doing today?
Doing really good.
Great. So can you just kind of give us a 101 level overview of Boise State Esports for people that didn't even know we had an esports program?
Gosh, if we find those people, we don't find them very often, but if we found one, Boise State Esports really is the competitive program for video games, where track and field is the competitive program for jumpers, sprinters, distance runners, vaulters. Esports is the competitive program for gamers, for Valorant, Overwatch, Rocket League, Smash, and we attract and scholarship the best in the country to come and be Broncos and take home Mountain West titles and beyond.
Is Madden not a part of that anymore?
Madden shows up every year, but CFB 25 definitely is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Matt Wallace, who is our player, won the Mountain West title in CFB 25 last year, and he'll try to defend it in 26.
Awesome. So we've talked before, and you mentioned there was a lot of motivation that comes from blue turf thinking, kind of like the underdog punching above their weight.
Absolutely.
And observing from the outside, I've kind of seen esports grow that way. Can you kind of detail the growth from where you started to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that have always kind of had that chip on their shoulder. Chris Peterson, he hit it well, but he always had it. And it's just kind of culture around here. Blue collar is not just a clever use of the blue, but really the kind of workman attitude that so many people have about where we belong. The Alabamas, Georgias, Texas, they don't even want to say our name, and they also don't want to play us. I mean, ask Oklahoma. But we see a couple times a year in esports, and they don't like to see us there either. So that just kind of underdog, chip on shoulder mentality has always really served us well, and it helps us to know who we're recruiting.
Okay. And so the growth of the program in terms of like wins, like you started off, it was kind of like you play anyone, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And what has that translated to success-wise more recently?
Well, I mean, if you ask most people, we're probably considered in many lists as a top 5 program. If you ask anybody in the athletic department, they'll say we're the #1 program in the nation. And I agree with their sentiment, right? Division I FBS, there's nobody better.
Yeah.
Certainly nobody with as long a track record. But when we started, and we even had our first conversation, I think we were one of probably 35 schools that had a bona fide esports program. There are over 200 FBS schools today with officially recognized program. Majority of those now have scholarships or waivers in some way. There are over 800 all division schools with dedicated spaces or full-time staff or scholarships or all those things.
Okay. Well, and recently there was some pretty big news that you're officially joining Boise State Athletics. So what does that mean? What does that change for you?
Yeah, the thing that it means to me right now that I'm most excited about is that we get to be plugged into that culture, right? I say it a lot, and I think a lot of people will agree. These are the good old days. In a couple decades, we will look back at the Jeremiah Dickey era. We will stand in the foyer of the Jeremiah Dickey building and we'll recognize what he really meant to this. But for me, that culture is now, and we have just been so excited to be a part of it. What does that mean? It means that you're given permission to dream big. Cody Gogler, I'm trying to remember exactly the way he says it, but Riley, it's a quote about impossible. Oh no, or epic. I've forgotten it, unfortunately. But essentially, it is impossible dreams equal amazing outcomes, right? It really is it's not where does this fit, but where could this go?
You shoot for the moon, you still land among the stars.
He quoted he quoted Gretzky, and we try to skate to where the puck is going to be. Yeah. And that's what they see. They see esports right now. There's a huge opportunity for media rights. We play in the Power Esports Conference, PEC, which is Michigan State, Ohio State, Kansas, Oklahoma, Utah, Syracuse, USC, all these schools, and there's marketing and media rights for that group, right? That they're like, yeah, we need to be part of that. We need to play the big schools, the big football schools, and there need to be opportunities for our Broncos students and programs because we're affiliated at the top level.
Okay. Yeah, and what you mentioned about Dickey, everyone just thinks of all of his revolutionary ideas coming into just football and basketball, and he's been incredible there.
What's next? Yeah.
He really, it's across all of the athletics, and it's really cool to see him latch on to and skating where the puck is going. Mm-hmm. Esports is really kind of a huge emerging space, and to see him latch onto that and actually really support it and not just kind of tolerate it is that's good. That's refreshing.
And Riley helped out a bit. It's unrealistic expectations produce epic results.
There you go.
And that's the way they're thinking about it. I mean, how many times had previous administrators walked across that parking lot and never asked the question, what could we put here? It's like, oh, well, here's where we put all of our tailgaters. Well, we can't touch that, right? And he's like, why? Why? Why can't we use that to go next level?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the end zone project, right? Mm-hmm. North end zone project. A lot of people have talked about it in drawings. It wouldn't be great to know. He's like, we're doing this, and this is the truncated, uncomfortable timeline that we're going to do it again. And esports is part of that. Really, that what's next culture. So that's the thing I'm genuinely most excited to be involved in. And in a lot of academics, so we've had an amazing relationship with the College of Innovation and Design. I came from the College of Ed, and Innovation and Design wanted esports, right? Gordon Jones, who's now the president of CWI, I wouldn't be surprised to see his name in the running for this gig over here. Yeah. But he wrestled it away. He said, no, esports needs to be in CID because we can support it better. But as amazing as that experience has been, athletics is already asking the big questions. We're already engaged in our Olympic conversations, right? About what our role as Boise State will be in the esports Olympic team, and we're tied in with that already. But they're asking those questions, not what is, but what's next.
Excellent. All right, so within the esports program, like, do you have any notable success stories of individuals that have really elevated the program?
Wow, too many.
Okay.
I mean, it's embarrassing in a sense to recount the success that we've had because it seems implausible, right?
Okay.
But a lot of it is due to we've had the right focus on who we bring here and why they come. Recruiting is really important, and we recruit great players that will graduate. Okay. That's our target. And people are like, well, yeah, that sounds great, but if you have a choice between a world-class player and and a pretty good player, but a great student, you're going to choose a world-class player. And the truth is no, right? Because that is fleeting, and they have to overcome a lot of stuff to come back year after year. Every student does, right? The best students, the ones who are really dialed in to get their degree, reduce our recruiting load annually. We graduated 3 students this year out of 20-ish that are like in our varsity. 3. We graduated our largest class last year of 6. It allows us to reload every year, not rebuild, which is really important. And they tend to buffer a lot of the stress that comes with being competitive year after year. But I mean, a few of our notable standouts of recent memory. I mean, Emiliano Flores, Durtho, Rocket League, really the Esports Player of the Year, the Esports Heisman, won it last year essentially.
So I didn't know that.
All-American. We've had 9 All-Americans thus far out of our program, more than any other university. And the other one I think of is Jonathan Foraker Clear. He's an Overwatch player. He's a professional Overwatch player and also a college Overwatch player. Amateurism in esports allows you to do both. So he was at the Overwatch World Championships with Nightmare in Sweden this last year, and he took trips to Korea and Japan and China. He continues to just see the world. And when we plan for that, we can turn over his competitive time, make sure that we have, roster depth to be able to, continue to field great teams every time. And then when he's done with that experience, which he should have, right? That pro experience in esports is a lot like an Olympic year, where good programs know that, look, you're going to only have a couple of shots at this. Yeah. You got to take it now, right? We've had a number of our players have incredible success professionally in social media. I mean, one of our former Rocket League players, amazing, talented player and coach and editor, just bought himself a house because of his YouTube money. Just like you do, right? Yeah. Similar with Chosen and Plato, both Overwatch players just crushing it on TikTok, streamers on TikTok, and I mean making embarrassing amounts of, I'll just call it success. Right? But it's success that you can deposit. But
fun coupons.
Those are really fun. It's really fun to see them to have success like that, engaged in the thing that they love, and that we got to be a part of their. And I know I'm forgetting people, but
I remember when I talked to you a few years ago, it wasn't even just the esports players themselves. It was also kind of the other tangential careers around it, like the shoutcasting and.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting in a studio that that they get to drive all the time, right? They get lots of experience doing the business end of storytelling, and some amazing folks have left here. I mean, Artie Rain, was Nerdy Bird was her name as a player, played for us, and then we graduated to the desk, and turns out that as good a player as Artie was in Overwatch, even better as a caster and a talent. Okay. Just so, and we'll go to the championships, and our former student is having to prognosticate against us on the desk.
Oh no!
It's beautiful. That's success. That's success. Like when you've got to take the anti-Boise State position because that's what the job calls for today, and our player gets that job. I mean, our alumni gets that job. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So you mentioned roster depth at one point, and it's obviously not like a physical athletic thing, but it's structured the same way. So is there, like, what is the roster? How many people can you have at a given time?
There are no limits. We have had like full practice squad depth in the past. In some games we do that if there's a value for it. Other times we don't, just because it's more people to chase around. But typically for the 4 games that we play, Overwatch, Rocket League, Smash, and Valorant, we try to keep full roster plus a sub or 2. And in some cases we will keep we would call the B team or the practice squad close, and we'll get them in tournaments and things like that so that their level can stay up and we can promote from those practice squads. It's not true of every game, because not every game has the same level of depth and following, but Valorant's a great example. We could build 2 teams in Valorant tomorrow, maybe 3, right? Just from people who want to be a part of the program. They're already Boise State students.
I've heard a lot about, is there a Kellen that currently plays?
He just graduated. You mean the most successful Kellen in Boise State history?
And what's his last name?
McGurkin.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Boise State cranks out very successful Kellen M's.
I mean, we are the #1 producer of successful Kellens in the nation. Right. I stand by that. No, and Moore is phenomenal. And having tremendous success. I'm excited to follow the Saints this year. Yeah. Truly, just because I'm such a big fan of his. Oh, yeah. I even found myself watching Cowboys play when he was there. He's that much of a draw. But Kellen McGurkin, I mean, Moore won 3 Mountain West titles. Kellen McGurkin won 4. I'm trying to count up the number of Kellen Moore national titles. I forget that number, but McGurkin has 2. So that's
slight
like
internal bias here for esports.
or we just look at the numbers. Let's just look at the numbers.
That's fair.
Total wins, McGurkin.
Yeah.
Championships, McGurkin.
So Kellen Moore,
All-American awards,
50-3 as a starter, and 5 points away from going 53-0. But
it's that points away from a stat that doesn't exist, right? But
no national championships. You're right.
Yep.
But also, I mean,
it's like, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
I'm all about Boise State succeeding no matter what the arena is. Obviously,
I agree. Yeah, no. And it is apples to hand grenades. I mean, it's not even the same thing.
Okay. What are some? I mean, you mentioned some of the individual people and their opportunities for depositable success, but also
I like that term.
The esports
Really
program
good
itself.
terms like that.
Well, you came up with it. I just reconfigured. What are some revenue building opportunities for the esports program itself?
That's a great one. I mean, we sit on the most viewed piece of Boise State real estate. 30,000 cars a day go by that intersection, right?
Which, to clarify, where are we?
We're at the corner of Capitol and Front.
Okay.
Right, 301 South Capitol. We're across from Trader Joe's. People are like, oh, I know that building.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that is one of the most marketable things. Is there an Amazon? I mean, is it the Amazon Boise State Esports Arena, or is it the Boise State Esports Arena powered by Elon? I don't know who it is. Right, that's Riley's job.
Yeah.
To figure that out. But that is one of the most marketable things ever. Plus, we pull a following, averaging over the last couple of years with our distribution. About 1 million households are touched by our matches and content every month, right? So it's a huge viewership. Now the length of that viewership, not sure, but that is part of the magic of what we do, is that we can produce a lot of content in a lot of ways and to an audience that everybody wants. We go to a football game, we see it differently than let's say a 15-year-old sees it. There are some diehard football fans who want to go and throw a Nerf ball in the end zone, like they do at all the high school games. Yeah. But a lot of those kids are like, what is this? Why am I here? Right? Because they want to participate. Yeah. They want to be able to watch something and then immediately go try it. That is what video games do. And we see a lot of families going, what are we doing with our season tickets if the kids don't want to go? Yeah. Right? That's our market, right? That's where we're going. So marketability in that group, what it looks like, I think there are a lot of killer ideas of what it looks like. But we're just one of the things that athletics will plug into in the next few years, media rights and beyond. So.
Okay. And as far as, so you mentioned the potential for naming the arena like the Amazon or whatever. Yeah. What current partnerships are you already benefiting from?
The biggest one is the Idaho Central Credit Union. Okay. They're amazing, and they've been our partner for 7 years now. They provide the largest gift that supports our scholarships and operational funds, and they're phenomenal. Clark and that whole group, Brenda, who's their new CEO, amazing supporters of what we do. They know this generation coming through, and they want to make sure that they have a place here, that they're not going to, UCI, or they're not going to, heaven forbid. Can I swear on this? Can I say Syracuse? Bleep that if you need to.
Okay, all right, I will.
They get that, but also Dairy West is another huge. You're here during a summer remodel, but the fueling station is getting a major update. They stocked it all last year, and we did a minor update, but it's going to be. I mean, it makes sense when you think of it in terms of sports. When student athletes come into the facility, they're coming from class. They've got to gear up to prepare. We're watching film. We're practicing. We're taking scrimmages. We're competing. We need to keep them, nutritionally satisfied, right? We need to keep them hydrated, and that's just part of it. And Dairy West helps with that. And we have a number of other great partners that we help them execute some of their missions. I mean, Project Filter, health and welfare, on-campus partners, all have an interest in communicating with the group that we communicate well with.
What about the equipment itself? Like, where does that come from?
Oh yeah, it's a good question. We've for the last number of years had Omen by HB having a local piece here. Omen is their gaming brand, and we've proudly stocked this space with that. We'd like to be able to continue that, but we also know that there's a ton of value right now in what we're doing as a top program, and that it's probably okay to listen to some of the other manufacturers and just see if they want to be a part of what we do, if there's a place for them with that, or if it's it needs to be all or nothing. Yeah, and that's one of the things that athletics, Cody Gogler, Brandon Fudge, that's one of the things that they do really well, is that they answer those questions. My focus needs to be on, are we ready to play Michigan State, right? Yeah. And not help me understand the rollover clause after year 3. That's not my territory at all.
Gotcha. Well, what is
I don't even know what a rollover clause is. I just made that up.
That's fair. Hey, some of them hit, some of them don't. Depositable. There you go. Yeah. Success. What does your long-term vision look like? Like, where do you want to be in 10 years? This isn't a job interview.
No, but I thank you for asking. I think that's a great question. I feel, interview hands.
My strengths are, my weaknesses are actually strengths.
I've been told my strengths.
Too much.
Right, exactly. You get it. You get it.
Well, I've worked in the corporate world. I get it.
Yeah. I think that there is a major update to this space, or potentially a new building or a second space in our future.
Potentially like on campus.
Yep. The arms race has already begun in college esports. Syracuse just built a $2.7 million facility as part of their 10-year. I swore again. As part of their 10-year, their $10 million like phase 1 plan. Baylor just had theirs greenlit. It's going to be in the teens of millions just for an esports space. And there are tons that have already, Maryville's building another space. This is what's happening. And we smile, anytime a new Royal Key video comes out, right, where they're touring some space, and we want to be on that playlist at some point, right? Because that's one of the things that we do well here, is we identify what it takes to be successful for our students, and then we build the infrastructure and add the people that allow them to do that, right? We could be successful in an overheated metal shed that sits in a parking lot. We could, but that's not what draws students to Boise State. This is a wonderful space, but it's very DIY. Right, we've had to do a lot of this stuff ourselves, and it's not purpose built. And if we were able to purpose build something, which I think we will in the next, you talked long-term plans, in the next, maybe 10 years is too far ahead. I'd like it to be sooner, right? I'd like to have a few seasons in that space before I hang it up. Gotcha. And as one of the oldest in my profession by a lot, right?
Really?
Yeah, most of my colleagues are in their late 20s, early 30s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and which I think is an unfair competitive advantage for us. I really do. You do stuff long enough, you've either seen the screw ups or committed them yourself, right? And you know how to avoid them. And they're still trying to figure out where they are.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, is there anything else you want to say about your esports program? Anything that you want to?
Genuinely, the invite is open for anyone to walk in that door and tour this space.
Okay.
Afternoon, just about every day, you can walk in here and walk the space, see the arena, see all of it. It's awesome.
And where can people go to see a schedule of actual
spectator events? Boise State Esports. Okay. And you find it. Ask your Chat GPT. It's right in that nice
Perplexity, Grok.
Exactly. I'm gonna see if I can't get a good GPT family Christmas letter this year.
Oh, there you go.
I bet you could crank that out like crazy. Just list accomplishments. Please write Christmas letters.
There you go.
I love that. Yeah. Question for you.
Oh boy.
Where do you think esports currently fits in the mix of the 18+1 varsity sport titles at Boise State? Football's number one.
Yeah.
Then there's a drop, and then basketball is number two, right? But there's a gap, right? There are a lot of diehard football fans that just they'll follow basketball, they'll follow the Broncos, but it's a little bit of a gap. It takes a Tyson Degenhart to really,
galvanize.
Yeah, and to get them super excited. But what's next, and where are we in that lineup?
Well, football is kind of.
Oh yeah. As it should be.
And basketball, it's kind of like we actually have a lot of fans and readers that are kind of more basketball first.
Really?
Actually, there's a few of those.
That's great.
Obviously, like football is the top, but there is actually kind of a dedicated space of really dedicated basketball people. But I would say overall, esports has really become that next one. Occasionally, there's going to be extreme outliers, like we had a lot of extra traffic when Ali Ostrander was.
That's what I was going to say. When you have a individual sport
when you have a
stand
national champion in something, especially when she got her national championship in an event where she was literally just trying to stay in shape for her main event and sort of won it on accident.
Yep.
That's a whole other level of domination. It's like, oh, you do this all the time? Oh, I just did this for fun. Okay, cool. I'll take the title.
Yeah.
So things like that, individual people, but overall, there's a lot of interest in esports, and especially like as time progresses, and it becomes more an ingrained part of athletics overall.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole I have 57 nieces and nephews now. Tons of interest in gaming. So that's a growing thing overall, and I think that'll continue.
And what are the big beacons in your mind of storytelling throughout the year? Let me pitch it, and you can modify it or disagree with it or support it. That Bronco fans who aren't avid, followers of the scene care about the season when we get into Mountain West title season, right? Or national title season, or I would guess whenever we're playing the team that the football team is playing, whenever we're playing that school that week.
That's when you notice interest.
Approximately, yeah. I think that is like the real hot spots for where esports fits with average Boise State fan.
Okay. Overall, I don't know where the interest comes from more specifically.
I think you talk about Ali. I think that's the same. That's the same kind of thing. When there's average Bronco fan is not checking what Ali's splits were at this indoor qualifier. Yeah. Wouldn't care.
We just like winning.
Yeah,
because we're spoiled, honestly.
No, we
get a lot of that.
And
I think there is, when you have those analogs of whoever the football team is playing, and you can have it in a different arena.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect average Bronco fan to follow our nearly 200 matches a year across 4 games, right? That's so much.
So, sorry, can I go back to basics a little bit?
Yeah, let's go back to basics.
So what does the season look like? So you said 200 matches, and then I know there's various tournaments that you go into that aren't necessarily.
It's kind of it's become simpler.
Okay.
Sure, there are tournaments. In the same way in basketball, there's the Maui Invitational, right? And we went to our own Hawaii Invitational this year, right? Those stand aside as these nice little stories. If we're talking Tolkien, it's like a chapter in the Silmarillion, right? It's like this. It's this other thing that happened, but the real, journey, in quest for the One Ring. That's the season. We play Mountain West and we play PEC.
Okay.
Power Esports Conference, I mentioned all those they're all the big football schools. Adding Utah and Minnesota this year. The Mountain West is exactly what you would think it is. And during the fall season, we mirror the football schedule, right? Occasionally we'll play a school, a minor directional that they just don't have anybody, right? but
Okay.
we'll play whoever our football opponent is in those games, and that's really valuable. And then, like in the Mountain West, where you wouldn't see every school, we'll play playoff bracket in the fall. In the spring, we don't try to align with basketball. It's just too complex. We just set up a schedule, essentially round robin. We play everybody in there, and then that seeds the playoffs. But they conclude at the same time. And in previous years, we've done that championship in Las Vegas with the Mountain West basketball tournament. So there's some great footage of us doing that.
Yeah.
But our season is basically 12, 13 weeks fall, 12, 13 weeks spring. And it just mirrors those schedules.
And it ends up being about 200 matches overall.
About 200 matches
Including
overall.
Postseason. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
150 to 200, which is a lot, right?
Yeah.
But when you're not
It's more than
traveling,
baseball.
you're not traveling for every game. We're only traveling for tournaments and kind of at the end of the season, or for special things like Hawaii. Then it's not a problem to have 10 weeks of PEC where you're playing, every Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, different games all throughout. And that's typically the way it works. So if you come on Mondays, you're going to see Rocket League. Right? We play Rocket League every Monday, and Overwatch every Tuesday, and Valorant every Wednesday, and Smash every Thursday, right? And so people do. They come in here, they set their work schedule around it, they bring their families in, and they come and they cheer for Rocket League because their child just loves Rocket League. And commonly, when that match is done, they can get up on stage and play. It's kind of like the kids at halftime at a high school game. It's like, all right, let's play.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, and in viewing the arena, looks like it's a pretty fun atmosphere. All the lights and the
Oh, yeah.
cowbells and all the cup holders and
Oh,
all
yeah.
the seats. So
Yeah, we want it to be loud in there.
a good atmosphere.
It's a really good prep when you're on a big stage for
Yeah.
a championship, and you're just not affected by sound because you're used to it. It's not new.
There's a metaphor in there somewhere.
Well, I mean, really, it's about being prepared. We've
Yeah.
learned to be as prepared as we can
And dialed in.
and dialed in. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, Doc.
You bet. This is awesome.
Good luck with the future. We'll
Well,
be
yeah.
excited to see where things go.
Well, your little guy's on our recruiting board now. Class of,
Oh, yeah,
class of 2042. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for your time.
Of course.